So let's go.
Though I never studied for the SAT, I remember going through one of those, that big book. Remember that?
Yeah. Barron's.
Barron's?
I think that was the company.
So there was a word that stood out. I learned all the way back then. Obsequious.
Obsequious.
That is the thought, that is the word that came to mind when I saw Shehbaz Sharif, Prime Minister of Pakistan, Lord, lionize Donald J. Trump in Sharm el-Sheikh.
Obsequious. Adjective. Obedient or attentive to an excessive or servile degree.
Servile is another word. Please.
They were served by obsequious waiters.
This is...
And underneath similar is one servile and the other is ingratiating. Rahim Khan, I'm telling you, okay, we have before us the Mad King, okay? And the Mad King demands a certain level of, in Pakistan we call it protocol. Right?
But he demanded a certain level of obsequiousness.
Oh, Rahim Khan, you have made the grammar Nazis and the language Nazis proud.
This is the Sideshow with Rahim Khan and Oves Anwar, and we're kicking off today's episode with Shehbaz Sharif's episode.
With Shehbaz Sharif's Sharmawal in Sharm el-Sheikh.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Like, for those of you who have seen the clip, there Trump is. First of all, he disses the UK. He's like, where's the UK? And Keir Starmer's like there at the back, like this guy's. Because as a global player, the UK is irrelevant now.
Yeah.
It is a shade of Pax Britannia. So there Keir Starmer was, Sir Keir Starmer, hoping that he would somehow be called. Well, he was on stage, but somehow Trump would sort of say, you know what, without the UK, this wouldn't have been possible. Those days are gone.
Long gone.
And then for some reason or the other, some odd reason, because Trump likes to do this. He, like most comedians on stage, he likes to interact with the crowd.
Yeah, he does some crowd work.
Thank you. Yeah, he does crowd work. And he calls upon the venerable Shehbaz Sharif. And listen, I'm not here to shit upon the government or Shehbaz Sharif or the Sharifs. But the reason why I started off this episode by even, using that word is, I get it. Maybe without Trump, this deal would not have gone through.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, right? I mean, under a Kamala presidency, I don't think we would have seen a ceasefire.
No, I don't think she would have had the political capital to pull it off.
Right. So maybe credit where the credit's due.
Sure.
But the extent to which this man, almost groveling, lords Donald J. Trump with his spray tan and dead squirrel on his head that he calls hair. Mm-hmm. I think that there's a certain amount of self-respect, a certain amount of decency that Shehbaz Sharif lost in those moments. And you know who we all were in that moment? Prime Minister Meloni of Italy. Because if you see Shehbaz Sharif, Trump, and somehow the other in that, she's photobombing the shot.
Yeah.
Poor thing. So she's there. So like most younguns at these family gatherings where two uncles interact, she's there. And first of all, she's like, who is this guy? Referring to Shehbaz Sharif. You can see it on her face. Like, and then this guy starts. And she feels uncomfortable for all of us.
Yeah. No, I think I completely understand. The issue that I had, which I think was probably one of the greatest facial expressions any human being's ever done, is when he talks about, Trump is speaking, he talks about Pakistan, India, then he turns around and right behind him is Shehbaz Sharif. Turns around and he says, right, and Shehbaz Sharif gives that smile. Yeah, that face.
That face was saying, sir.
That face was saying, sir.
Sir,
I wasn't listening. Sir. I've been caught off guard.
Sir.
But sir.
Right? And sort of like, he goes on to express that when he says, I salute you, sir. This gave Trump a boner. Because you know what? This language is common to us here in the subcontinent.
Yeah.
I can't speak for the Arabs, Arab being the mellifluous language that it is.
Yeah.
But here in Pakistan, this is common, sir. I salute you, sir.
But it's not so common in the US.
हम आपका respect करते हैं, sir. Trump was like, man.
I have made a nuclear-powered state. The Prime Minister.
Everyone now, henceforth in the White House, will be saying this. I salute you, sir. And you know, it was the chota adab. It wasn't the bada adab like, It was the chota adab.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Shehbaz Sharif, you can do better than this.
Yeah, but Rahim, I'm telling you, it's the Mad King.
Always, but here's another thing.
King
And
has to be dealt
before we
with.
move on to something else, do you not think that this is, and I don't want to sound like a sociologist or an anthropologist or anything like that, but do you not think that this is a holdover from colonial times, where the minute we as brown people see a white-skinned person, we somehow, there's this genetic memory.
Look, there's
that comes into play, and
there
we're like,
is the
sir.
There is the colonial mentality that we have, but there's the medieval mentality that Trump brings, where he's demanding.
That's a reel right there, my friend.
Just we should continue it so that it's longer. No, but that's really what we're seeing here. I mean, this is something that you could get out of Game of Thrones or like a period drama about that, where the king expects a certain level of. Everyone around him knows this guy's off a little bit, right? Like it's not normal what this guy
Kiss the ring.
He kissed the ring, exactly. And you saw it when he did it with what's his name, Ukraine. Zelensky. I'm losing my memory, dude. With Zelensky, the way he destroyed him, and then he allowed him a chance to
come back into my good graces.
I will allow it. Like even for you to
I will grant you an audience.
Your image.
I will grant you an audience.
Exactly. So all of that, and how he demands that he gets credit for everything.
Speaking of
credit, there is no decency in this.
In this man, no.
There is. I am king, and I get all the credit, and this is what children do. This is what my 6-year-old wants credit for everything, right? And it's sad to see a grown 70-year-old man behaving exactly the same way.
Speaking of credit, being denied the Nobel Peace Prize, Pakistanis and their memes were amazing.
I didn't see.
You didn't see those? I'll put them up. I'll put them up in post. But he was like, there's Trump. Akin to that, that Pablo Escobar meme where he's like, you remember what you had from Narcos, where Pablo's just like standing like really sad. So you have him standing really sad somewhere, and he's like, "Lado, mujhe kya hai?"
I won't make peace anymore.
I don't want to make peace anymore.
I'm taking my bat and ball.
Don't give me the Nobel Peace Prize.
I'm not going to play with you guys.
And of course, Shehbaz Sharif had to say, again, I reiterate my points. Please give this man
millions of lives he has saved.
Please,
and then Trump reiterates that in the White House, and the wonderful Prime Minister of Pakistan said that I saved millions of lives, and he was referring to the conflict with India. And 7 jets were those were Indian jets. Okay. Anyway, So that's.
But they decided to give, and I'm.
But Rahim Khan, before we go anywhere, this ceasefire deal, we're making, I think, too much of a deal out of it, right? I honestly feel that this could very well be a ploy, get the hostages released, and then do whatever the hell you want.
It's not making much sense to me, and this was going to be something I was going to do in our other show, Systematic. Please watch that. Because the thing is that on the one hand, you have everyone, sort of likening Hamas to the devil. But then there you have Trump admitting that it's not we're not immediately disarming Hamas because they have to take care of the gangs that Israel armed. Because the minute the ceasefire announced, those gangs went on the rampage, and within, I think, an hour or 2 hours' time of it, they killed 25 people.
Yeah, and they killed that wonderful journalist. Hafiz al-Quran.
Exactly. They killed journalists. And these were gangs. I'm forgetting the name, but of that... the name of that gang leader.
Yeah, I've forgotten it.
But he was an Al-Qaeda affiliate.
Yeah.
Right? An Al-Qaeda affiliate. And sort of during this whole GHF fiasco, these people were there along with the GHF and their mercenaries, sort of enforcing Israel's will. And they went on the rampage. And sort of now the very fact that Trump has somehow allowed Hamas to police Gaza in this interim period doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. None of this peace plan is not making any sense to me. The 20-point peace plan.
So the thing that I have, what I'm concerned about is that if the violence starts, then it's gone to hell in any case. Then there's really no coming back to it, because a lot of political capital has been spent. People aren't going to fall for it again. People are going to say that Trump only did this to get those few hostages released, their bodies released, and now Israel's finding any excuse. I think Israel's going to try to find any excuse they can. Unless
they already have. For example, they had to. For example, it was mandated that 608 trucks had to be allowed in. They've cut it down to 300.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
What's it called? I think that sort of in certain parts of northern Gaza, there is still, drone strikes and...
6 people were killed.
6 people were killed. So it is very clear that Israel is,
Look, for his own political survival, this madman, Netanyahu, needs to have.
And speaking of being obsequious, did you see? When you had Trump sitting beside him, and the Speaker of the Knesset, and that speech that he was delivering Netanyahu. My God, man, I don't want to say this, but it was short of blowing goats. Have some decency, man.
Oh, no.
Not to say that a man like Netanyahu can ever be decent, considered decent, but enough with the groveling. It was disgusting.
And then you blame Shehbaz Sharif, the Prime Minister of Israel. He is doing this thing. So why
not Shehbaz Sharif?
Shehbaz Sharif is simply,
two sort of things, tangents that I'm going, not tangents, but related issues with this. Speaking of firstly Shehbaz Sharif, I was waiting for this. I remember we had brought this up earlier on. Khwaja Asif was in an interview with Mehdi Hassan on Zateo, right? And because it's behind a paywall, I'm sorry, I don't subscribe.
The Shama Junaid of paywall.
Yes, right. Because it's behind a paywall, I had to wait for the actual interview to come on, for it to be free on YouTube.
Okay.
Because for the first, I think 10 days or 15 days or whatever, it's on the website. And then later on, they released it on thing. Mm-hmm. But we also excerpts from it. Yeah. One thing I want to ask, is Khwaja Asif the most bumbling, inarticulate human being to take the stage?
The answer to that is yes. During this conflict with India, right, this man, if we were trouncing India in the information war, the one chink in our armor was a Khwaja Asif shaped chink, right? And the bumbling fool, the things he would say to that, what's her Hakimi? Or Hakim, that journalist, Sky News.
Zalda?
Yalda Hakim. Sorry. Right? First of all, she has a clear-cut anti-Pakistan bias, right? You can see that for Pakistanis are coming onto your show. There was no Indian who would show up other than that one BJP spokesman who she's really good buds with, apparently. He showed up to her show. There was no one else from the Indian government official who was winning. Pakistanis again and again would show up, would answer her questions. But this fool, they let him go on. And he has caused such stupid remarks, the things he was caught on. How do you know that these are?
Oh, it was on social media. Is that what?
It was on social media. How do you know these planes were? It was on social media, or say you have intelligence. Say you have radars. Say you have other ways of picking this up.
The sort of eloquence and the wit that they reserve for certain opposition parties here in Pakistan. Somehow or the other, they lose when they are talking to the international media.
Rahim Khan, the thing is that when you enter parliament, there is a tonic that you receive, right? There is something that happens to you when you enter those.
What happens?
You become eloquent.
Yes.
You become witty. You become.
You call women dump trucks.
Tractor trolleys.
Tractor trolleys. Sorry.
That is the type of.
Where is that Khwaja Asif? That whippersnapper? That.
I think
where is that
old.
guy?
I think he's gotten old.
Because, in the interview with Mehdi Hassan, because Mehdi Hassan, dude, that guy's a shark. He's a great white.
He wrote the book on how to win every argument.
That guy does not forget an inch, he doesn't even give a millimeter. He will pounce, right? This guy literally looked like, Khwaja Asif literally looked like he didn't have all his marbles on that day. He was like, there's something bad in the belfry type thing. There's something going on up here. Maybe he was off his meds on that day.
No, this guy, Khwaja Asif, seemed like he was walking while
Mehdi Hassan
was in a jet.
Was an Usain Bolt type
Yeah.
sprint.
Exactly. Right?
Walking, this guy was like, plodding.
Like literally, the analysis taking place in each one's head.
Yeah.
You could
You could
see
see it
how
visibly.
off that guy is, right? So I mean, that was a really unfortunate thing. Yet they keep him, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just because of his political clout or whatever.
But
it
look,
is,
okay,
but-
keep him for your political. Keep him for your political clout. Why don't you hire someone as a Ministry of Defense spokesperson who can appear on these shows and speak on your behalf?
Exactly.
Why does this man insist? And this is not just this government. This is all Pakistani governments. What I fail to understand is that the railway minister of any government will have an opinion on everything. You are the minister of a now defunct minister. I mean, railways, you guys have literally lifted off the tracks from the train. I mean, from the thing. What are you guys being a minister of? And this guy will have an opinion on something.
Yeah, Rahim Khan, look.
I mean, this is just simple PR. Hire somebody. How much does it cost you?
No, and look, if you're one of the few countries that has something known as a Ministry of Information, right? So then have the information guy who's supposed to be the spokesperson.
Literally.
Have him the guy. Tara, he still does a better job than, I mean, he's not the most eloquent
he's
leader,
not, no,
but he
no.
still does a much better job than Khwaja Asif. He should have been the only one.
Why can't the Ministry of Information second PR people to all these ministries and just have them speak on behalf of the ministers who are the most, like...
And yeah,
that says it all.
this says it all. It says so much about what we feel.
Another
about.
one of these, what's it called, things that I was going on was, we were speaking of the Nobel Peace Prize. And of course, of all of the people in the world, they decide to hand it to a lady who is rabidly Islamophobic, who is pro-Israel, and who essentially wants to open up Venezuelan oil fields so that she can just sell it and exploit it. That is, of course, Miss Machado of Venezuela, who is lauded in Oslo, what's it called when they were announcing the recipient of the Peace Prize, as sort of a lion of democracy and sort of a champion of it. No. She's pro-Israel. The minute you say that, the minute that appears before your name, I'm sorry, you lose all credibility in my eyes.
You know what? I feel like...
and just one more thing that I add, and then of course you can comment. There were other people, like for example, they asked the Slovenian, if I'm correct, Prime Minister, a lady, who would you have given the Peace Prize to? And she says Francesca Albanese from the UN. Now it's your turn.
So... when they gave Obama the Nobel Peace Prize, not for having done anything, for the potential of having of that
the great black hope.
Yeah, that I just said, it's over. Like
it's an empty prize.
But then when you look at it, like how political these nominations are. I think it's lost all credibility. The Nobel Peace Prize doesn't mean jack. It's like you hear, oh, he got it. Okay, great. Right? And the Peace Prize used to mean something. Right? And the expectation is that these people, for a moment in their lives, they may have done something, and then you expect that they will always be great. Look at Aung San Suu Kyi. She turned out to be this Islamophobic, rabidly. She's willing to agree to everything the junta wanted. She was the B team of the junta.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the junta went against her and
jailed her yet again.
And frankly, she may have deserved the second jailing, but and then where there was that Michelle Hussein, I think.
I remember. Her. And she was hot-mic'd.
She was hot, and she asked, "Oh, is she one of them? Like, is she a Muslim?"
Yeah, of course.
Right? No wonder.
No. She said that I didn't know she was one of them.
I didn't know she was one of them.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, it's just people are so.
I agree.
Malala, right? And
then
having said that,
okay.
At the same time, you have people in this world who have done so much good. You have the Greta Thunbergs. You have people who have sacrificed so much, right? So people say that Greta Thunberg is privileged. She's white. She's Swedish. She comes from a wealthy family. All of those things.
She's actually using that money for what she's doing.
Exactly. This is what you want wealth for, right?
Exactly. This is the right application of privilege.
Exactly. Right.
As opposed to, and I hate that you brought up Malala's name again.
No,
she's not our whipping. No, I don't want to make her my whipping. No. But just one thing, please allow me.
Okay. Just this one thing.
I suffered, so you should too. recently, she's put out her own, like,
Oh my God! The cringe! My lord.
Finding My Way, an autobiography.
Is that what it's called?
Yes, Finding My Way, an autobiography by Malala Yousafzai. And I actually read an excerpt of it because it was on The Guardian.
I think she should have named it Sex Bomb.
Wait, no. You know what it should have been called?
What?
How I Got High, Had a Bad Trip. Because
That's the other excerpt, yeah.
because that is the excerpt that I read. Because I was, wait a second, I was like, where is this leading? So
This is what happens when you get an Oxford education and you think, I don't need a ghostwriter anymore.
no, this was ghostwritten like anything.
Really?
Oh my God.
Yeah, but Rahim, the stories are so dull and bland.
No,
like
forget
whatever
that.
we've read so far. Like, who's going
I'll
to pick
tell
up
you
this
it's
book?
ghostwritten because it has the most bullshit minutiae. Oh, I stepped out of whatever her hall is called.
Okay.
What Lord's Hall, let's just call it that for the sake
Okay.
of this conversation. I stepped out of Lord's Hall and looked at the sky and it was twinkling and there were daffodils and things. This only a ghostwriter would do because this is called padding.
All right.
You don't have a story, so you pad it. You add random ass details.
Or a first-time author. Or a first-time writer.
So in this excerpt, which is there for everyone to read, she talks about how she got high for the first time. Her friends were smoking a blunt, sort of on the same grounds where Newton and Hawking tread.
Also got high.
Also got high, of course. And somehow or the other, it reminded her of the time that she was shot by the Taliban. I've never had a bad trip. I've never had a trip to speak of, but I guess that can happen. I didn't know weed could do that to you. I thought LSD does that to you. But apparently that was her bad trip. So that's where I think that the book could have, I smoked weed and had a bad trip, is so much better a title than Finding My Way by Malala Yousafzai.
It would be a so much shorter book.
It would be a novella. Not even a novella, it would be just like a paragraph.
It would be, yeah. It would be.
As opposed to Greta Thunberg, who you just mentioned, who has come out and said, do you remember initially when they got back?
She did not say a word of her torture. She located this as Palestinian suffering. As
Exactly.
This is.
And you know who the first people to say were her fellow detainees. They were like, there was a Turkish man, if you remember. He said that Greta was abused, she was mistreated, so on and so forth. And now that she's returned back to Sweden, she said that not only was she forced to wear an Israeli flag around her neck, somehow or the other, these scum Israeli IDF soldiers had learnt a handful of words, abusive words in Swedish, which they were calling her a whore, right? They dragged and, kicked her and all of that stuff. But here we have
Rahim, they twice undressed her.
Yeah.
They took selfies with her in that state. They kicked her constantly. They denied her water in 40-degree
weather
cells.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There were people who fainted because of dehydration.
Yeah.
When they were screaming this and that, these people had water bottles and they would just throw them in the bin in front of them.
Of course.
Right?
All attempts at psychological torture.
She says that thing again. Even after saying all this, she locates it again. She says that if the world did this to a white, privileged European Swedish woman, when the entire world's eyes were on them, what do you think the Israelis are doing to Palestinians who nobody gives a damn about, right? And it just scares the shit out of me.
It does.
Some of the people that they're releasing don't have eyes, dude. They've plucked out their eyes.
The bodies, I think there were 45 bodies returned. Palestinians. Israelis have returned 45 bodies. And most of them had signs of torture. Some of them even had ropes around their necks, or they were still bound.
Rahim, just tell me this.
Yeah.
If one of the prisoners, if one of the hostages from Israel had their eyes plucked out,
that entire neighborhood would have been, well, not to say that it hasn't already, but
it would have meant the end of all Palestinians.
Absolutely.
Right? It would have been, these are the most barbaric. I just don't understand how it's just this, when you get down to it, it is the value of blood varies.
Absolutely.
Right? There's an
exchange
rate
yes.
for blood, and Palestinian blood is
cheaper.
Is cheap. Right? And it's just, it breaks my heart seeing all these people who are
And as we're on the subject, I will now go on to christen this week, our third of the week. And our third of the week is Daniela Weiss.
Oh.
She is, I don't want to use that word.
Is it Daniela Weiss or Barry Weiss?
No, it's Daniela Weiss.
Oh.
Daniela Weiss is the godmother of the settlements. You know
Oh,
her.
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Barry Weiss will talk
I thought
about
we're
next
talking
week.
the CNBC.
No.
Okay.
Of course, Barry Weiss will talk about next week. But this week, the reason why I'm talking about Daniela Weiss, the so-called godmother of Israeli settlements, a woman who any other day would have looked like sort of very grandmotherly and nice.
Someone who shares recipes.
And benign, exactly.
Yeah.
She's like an Italian nonna who would give you like her recipe to like, puttanesca or something like that, or whatever, right? But this woman is... Do you remember Al-Qaeda? I think it was Ayman al-Zawahiri. He was their, what's it called? Ideological like head.
Yeah. Spiritual head or whatever.
Spiritual head or something like that. He wasn't right? So...
This woman is that.
This woman is that for the terrorist
Zionist
settlers who continue to this very day to terrorize Palestinians and make no bones about it, because to them, God has promised them this land. And the reason why I'm even bringing her up is that very shortly after the ceasefire was announced, Piers Morgan for the second time invited this woman onto the show to, of course, talk. And the very first time that she was called onto the show, again, Piers Morgan, who has had a change of heart, asked her, this is the first time around, do you feel anything for the Palestinian children? And and short of saying, I couldn't care less, she said everything else, right? Again, this time, said, Piers, though he didn't ask about sort of like, all of those who have been murdered, but he did ask, what you're doing in, for example, the West Bank is illegal by all sort of like, international law, UN, so on, everything. Nope. God has promised us this land. And unless, and these are her words, not verbatim, if those under us accept our sovereignty, we will be okay with it. But if they do not, they will be removed from this land. That is ethnic cleansing. But for her, of course, it means nothing.
So the
reason why he brought up Ayman al-Zawahiri is very clearly that man was a terrorist. He was sort of like, he warranted being sort of killed or removed from this earth. This woman is the equivalent of Ayman al-Zawahiri. And yet there she is. So to say anything about her would be anti-Semitic.
No, so this is the issue, right? So the limit of freedom of speech is when it does not lead to violence, right? You can offend people, that's fine, right? You can make fun of people's religions. People have accepted that globally. You can do whatever you want. But it's when you incite violence which becomes the issue. This woman is clearly an individual who not only incites violence, but then justifies violence that has taken place.
Encourages it.
Glorifies it, says this is the right thing to do.
Yes.
The problem is that she is in a legal situation where she is protected by all means. It is Israeli law.
Yeah.
And in fact, it is not only protected by law, but by the state apparatus.
Yes.
So there are settlers who go in with weapons into Palestinian territories, into Palestinian homes. Beat them, kill them, murder them, burn them alive, right?
Burn their homes
down. And
down.
they're escorted by IDF soldiers.
That's right.
Right?
And to this very day, no Israeli spokesperson, no Israeli politician, no Israeli themselves have been able to justify, because again, this was always a counterpoint that was brought up, during the past 2 years. They would be like, okay, Gaza, we understand, Hamas, hostages, all of that stuff. What's going on in the West Bank? There would never be an answer.
I don't know why you and I keep on bringing up Israel in these discussions. Yes,
it's hard
the thing
not
is we're trying to rationalize.
Yeah, we're trying to rationalize, exactly.
There is no rational understanding of. There is a genocidal state that is operating with its full, under the colors of state.
Yes.
With its full immunity as a state entity, which has this blessing of, Western powers for the longest time, and still does. Despite everything that's happened, everything is going to normalize ASAP.
That's right.
Within a month or two.
Yeah, of course. It's going to go back to normal. It's going to go back to normal.
And, it's just, it feels like we're wasting our words or discussing this.
I agree.
Right? But it still has to be discussed.
It has to be discussed.
Because there is the level of violence and the critique that needs to take place should not die down. The boycott should not die down. The efforts to hold them accountable should not.
No, exactly. Right? That is, I think,
that's really what we.
And that is, I think, because we referred to her, and I'll bring her up again. Francesca Albanese said this as well, that a ceasefire is meaningless without any form of accountability.
Yeah, you know what the joy in all of this is, the little bit of silver lining, is that this beautiful human rights world and this beautiful framework that has been established it can't function because of Israel.
That's right.
You can't have your cake and eat it too.
No.
You say to the West. Because if Israel continues the way it does, right, your human rights mean nothing.
Nothing.
Right? Your ability to hold others accountable or to tell them, as they have been very happy to tell the brown man throughout history, the Asian or the African over the past several decades, to civilize. Yes, exactly. The white man's burden, if you will. Right? That means shit now.
Means shit, yeah.
Right? You have eaten shit for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
And now you've come to a point where your words mean nothing.
Nothing.
Right? It is such an embarrassing situation for these people who consider themselves to be these civilized thought. I always had a problem trying to understand how the most educated Germans were able to elect or get the Nazis in. I understand exactly now why it happens. It's the silence of good men, right? It's the silence of people, or the open acquiescence that we will turn a blind eye here, but everything will be okay.
Everything will be okay,
and it's appeasement. That's really what it is in the end. But we're I think oversimplifying a lot of this stuff. Israel, the Middle East, what Israel has done is that it has tried to create so much confusion in this entire thing that you can't really tell what is right and wrong. Right? One of the biggest successes they had was calling a democratically elected Hamas as a terrorist organization. Saying that, and then using literally the exact arguments that Al-Qaeda used to use to attack Americans. Oh, they voted for an American president who was attacking us, and therefore Americans are legitimate targets. That's exactly what they're saying.
What is the difference between Zionism and, say, for example, Al-Qaeda, or, for example, Islamic radicalism?
There is no difference. A supremacist ideology. Hindutva is the same.
Same
in
thing,
India.
Yeah.
Even Islamic supremacy is the
same.
As
I said,
right? Yeah.
Any form of radicalism.
Absolutely.
I mean, sort of like, for example, if we're Islamopascists, they're zealots.
Yeah.
Right? Or they're Christian fundamentalists. Any form, as you said, is essentially the same.
Yeah, I just don't know what the antidote to this is. That's what the confusion is. The antidote to this is accountability, and you're not going to get accountability in the current state. So what do you do? How do you...
Did you think that, for example, black South Africans, ever thought they would have accountability?
Yeah, but the accountability they got was also... It was a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Yeah. That's a nice kind of accountability.
That's a nice kind of accountability.
If you come and speak the truth, you don't get punished. You could have tortured and done, all of that. And only if you don't come out will there be consequences, right? That was Rahim Khan, that South Africa, they have a lot of suburban patience, and a lot of people had thought that the second Mandela dies, the blacks are gonna massacre the
whites. Yeah,
but you have to give it to them that they
they restrain themselves.
Yeah, but you also have to realize when that transition took place from apartheid to democratic South Africa, the Rainbow Nation. South Africa is the only country that gave up its nuclear weapons. Yeah. It rolled back its nuclear. Why? Because they wouldn't trust the blacks with a nuclear bomb.
With the nuclear bomb, yeah.
What else did they do? They also, shut down any ability of really going back and striking, holding people accountable to the extent that they should have. Right. Because of the atrocities they committed during apartheid. Yes. Now, with this apartheid that Israel holds, I think you're going to have... There is nothing to transition to, right? There is no movement within Israel that
to somehow
you have
rehabilitate.
You have one state where everybody is agreed. Like there is general consensus that we have supremacy over the Palestinians. Yes. And so I just don't know how you're going to have Israel mend its ways, if you can even call it mending its ways. Right? There is no solution to this problem. That's what my worry is. There's only an external solution where you impose sanctions to the extent that it cripples Israel. You boycott it through all means, and this means the Europeans and the Americans, right? And then get to a point where Israel says, okay, we have no other choice but to give the Palestinians the land. It's a difficult time. Rahim Khan, next topic.
Moving on to something closer to your heart. Did you see this? I shared it with you.
The Australian?
Yes.
Oh, I love the Australians. They don't give a shit. They don't give two shits.
So we've been talking about this for the past couple of weeks now. This was, of course, the no-shake Indian, strategy. This was to strike psychological terror in the hearts of the losers that are the Pakistani cricket team. Yeah. But the Australians, and this is your thing, man. This is your bit. Go for it.
So the Indians made quite a public show of not shaking Pakistan's hand, even though they did shake our hands earlier on in the tournament, off camera and stuff like that. They had no problem. Suddenly, they realized their patriotism later on.
Yeah.
On the field.
Retroactive patriotism.
Retroactive, right? So they didn't shake our hands, and this became a big thing. Everybody said this was in really bad taste. And then what happens is that you have this promo for the India-Australia series, where the Indians are touring Australia, and you have a bunch of Australian cricketers, and they're saying, okay, so how are we going to deal with the Indians? Well, we know that they don't like shaking hands, greetings the normal way. So then, different Australians would say, okay, we're going to go like this, and somebody say, we're just going to do, a different symbol.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how we're going to greet them, and it's not going to be. So that apparently caused quite a stir.
I wonder what Jay Shah had to say.
Jay Shah lost his shit apparently, right? He lost his wig.
What does he say to the Australians?
Right, I don't know, but what happened, all we know is...
Right.
...is that this video was taken down.
It was?
Yeah, apparently this video was taken down. It's not on their official page anymore.
Really?
Yeah, but it was
Who
made
cares?
public. It's been retweeted.
Dude, once it's up on the internet...
Yeah, right.
It is a part of...
And I think when you try to do these stunts, right, like the Indians have, then develop the thick skin.
Exactly.
That comes, the decent thing to do.
Good on the Australians, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you pieces of shits, develop some thick skin. Now what they want is, again, they want to be able to do these, shenanigans and these antics and these
and get away with
adventures and then get away with it. And then nobody criticize them.
Or make fun of them.
Accountability is for all of
when
these
I said
shits,
last week, when I said like 2 weeks ago that sort of the Indian cricket team is the Israel of the cricketing world.
Absolutely.
I think I was right.
This is exactly what it is.
Good on the Australians.
Absolutely. Oh, I wish they hadn't taken it down. I wish they had stood their ground.
Maybe I think there was reprimand, like official reprimand, like maybe sanction or like some...
Why?
There wouldn't have been? You don't think so?
I just don't... Like, this is...
Or maybe they would have said it's like in bad taste or like...
This is in bad taste?
I'm just saying.
This is in bad taste?
I'm saying like the rationale that maybe the Australians might have come up with.
This was reacting to something... Like on YouTube, if we had taken a video of someone, this would have been called fair use.
Yes.
Right? So, I mean, screw them.
And
but it was a great video.
Speaking of cricket, there was this other one now. I do not know if this is like, spurious or if this is... So Ali Khan Tareen, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, he's Jahangir Tareen's son.
Okay. So he owns one of the cricket teams, right?
Yeah, I think he had.
He had.
Or maybe he still does.
So now this was reported on Nukta Pakistan, Nukta Digital or whatever it's called. Ali Khan Tareen. Guys, I have some hilarious PSL goss. Because it's not gossip among the sort of like, glitterati, it's goss. Apparently, they have asked for performance rates of Jennifer Lopez, aka J.lo. यार क्या लोग हैं ये no work on team renewals, team additions, match day experience / audience बस J.lo से उनकी मुलाकात हो जाए उफ.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, you get a lot more people watching PS if she performed there, right? Yeah, but like, I mean,
they must have been, madam, what are your rates?
maybe they're hoping that she might offer them like some senior citizen discount now that she's aging.
Oh no! Here it is. This is the thinking, the rationale. Because now Pakistan is almost like they're practically like the Edelsteins. Like if Miriam Edelstein or whatever can like call up Trump.
Yeah.
So now, for example, like if it's the field marshal or for example it's the PCB chairman, because they dine with Trump like regularly. Whenever they go to DC, they call upon him. So in their thinking, they're like, "Yaar, ab to bas J.lo bas koi masla hi nahi hai. And we have access to everybody."
Yeah, but I think they'd be able to get more, the MAGA crowd, right? So like Tucker Carlson could come, or like the late Charlie Kirk might show up instead. That would be easier.
None of these people are good PSL draws.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would.
But in their thinking, because like वो तो like मैं उसको call करूँगा तो वो उसको call करेंगे and then be like J.lo will be there. It's like a very Pakistani approach.
Dude.
That's a very Pakistani approach to doing things, right?
Absolutely.
Because here it's like if I get a call from the Ministry of Interior, so I have to perform. These guys are thinking like, I'm just going to call like the Secretary of State Mark Rubio. Mark Rubio is going to call like J.lo's people and J.lo's going to be like, yeah, how many performances do you want?
Yeah, but this is hilarious, man. When I read this,
But you know, you guys.
So what if they don't shake our hands? We've got J.lo.
We got J.lo.
That's what they would say.
And you guys brought this up in a systematic episode a couple of months ago about sort of like, you know, PSL being at least PSL 6. This was PSL 6?
Yes, I don't
or
know.
7 or whatever, I don't know. But this being like one of the worst ones.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It was lackluster.
Yeah. Players' excitement, the way they structured it.
Audience experience, which
Also,
is something that Tareen this guy is talking about.
Because every year it's exactly the same.
It's exactly the same.
Right? There's really
nothing new.
Exactly, yeah.
So, I mean, I think that at least there, this guy does have a point. That they're not focusing on maybe perhaps making the actual...
Exactly. And he's 100% right. And he's done a lot of good for the franchise and for his own Multan Sultans, I think. And also for cricket in Pakistan. I have a very positive opinion of Ali Khan Tareen in that I think he also had one of the first female coaches.
Okay.
Coaches or managers or something along those lines. But he's very progressive that way. I think he's doing a fantastic job there. But he's very right to criticize them. Focus on fixing the quality of the game, getting people there. Bring J.lo, unless she's performing at every single match, nobody's going to show up.
Yeah, I think that honestly it would only be for the opening ceremony.
Obviously.
I mean, big entertainers like this, I mean, J.lo would never commit to doing like, you know, wouldn't be one of the cheerleaders that they have. She would just be there, just do like a couple of performances and they were like, sayonara.
Yeah.
And it would be in Dubai. It would be in Dubai, it wouldn't be in Pakistan. She would never come here.
Never come here.
No way in hell would she come here. Despite the bonhomie between Pakistan and thing. We're now turning to another story which... Man. Okay, first of all, I take, and I don't mean no disrespect, but I take most of what is posted on pro-Pakistani with like a pinch of salt. The page, pro-Pakistani Atya, pro-Pakistani. But this is something that is apparently backed by a investigative reporter by the name of Aisha Khan. And this has all been like, sort of like, there are... Okay, so essentially what this is, and I hate sort of like, this stereotype actually becoming an actual real thing, but Islamabad police remain silent as foreigners illegally trap and eat animals. Here's a little bit of it. Chinese foreigners in Islamabad are trapping wild animals around the E7 Hill Road area before taking them away to eat, which is against the law. I think which is against perhaps common decency.
It depends on what animal it is.
Wait a second. This has been going on for a while already, but this time the culprits were caught on video by a daring reporter, Aisha Khan, who also captured their cars and their license plates. That's why I'm even bringing this up. This isn't just hearsay. This is apparently backed up because the thing is, these Chinese men were seen using 2 different Toyota Corolla cars in white with license plates, blah, 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 both registered in Islamabad. Details of the car are given. Okay. The culprits have been seen capturing all kinds of wild animals, including foxes, monkeys, rabbits, wild boars, dogs, and essentially any animal that they could get their hands on.
Dude, I feel this is going down a racist...
the Islamabad Wildlife Management Board, which is a government institution, is also involved in this case.
How do you, without hunting?
Just one more. The IWMB, the Islamabad Wildlife Management Board, managed to recover one of the trappers that was in use by these Chinese culprits. A poor dog was captured by this trapper and which was taken to the clinic for treatment. Both IWMB and Aisha Khan, who captured the video, reported the incident separately at the Kausar police station with an FIR now registered.
Okay, however, well, I mean, if that's the case...
However, no action has been taken by the police since. They also chose to register the reporter's FIR instead of IWMB, which blah, 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 blah. This was 22nd of September. And reported at the Kausar police station.
I don't know about this, dude. So, look, the Wildlife Board is a reputable organization.
Yes.
If they're saying this, I take them at their word. But again, we shouldn't... It's the easiest thing to go... They said this, that when they were building the motorway, right? The donkeys would disappear.
Animals on the entire strip just vanished.
Man, I mean... so I don't know how
The only reason I even brought this up was because this was an FIR was being mentioned.
Yeah.
When that is being mentioned, this means that things have been kicked up a notch and they've been actually made official.
Look, I think what they should do is list animals that we're happy getting rid of, like the wild boars. Go have at it, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
We can't eat them.
Yeah, somebody else should.
Yeah, these are dangerous animals that are, roaming around in sectors now.
Yeah.
You have at it, dude. But like foxes and stuff like that, man, foxes are cute, dude.
Monkeys.
Yeah.
Dogs. I don't know what to make of this, though. I don't know what to make of it.
I don't know either, dude.
Because that's what I said. I mean, whenever it comes to pro-Pakistani, the page,
Yeah.
there's always like stuff that I kind of like am wary of.
Yeah, you have to verify.
It's a little sensational. It's a little news of the world, New York Post type.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But when you do have like, stuff like this mentioned, I wonder what to make of it. Okay. This is a good one, and I think
the last one, Rahim Khan, because
I was about to, and I'm going to end it on this note.
Okay.
Because we spoke about this last week as well. We spoke about this individual. But and this is, of course, SecDef, Pete Hegseth.
Secretary of War.
Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. Mm-hmm. So now what Secretary of War Pete Hegseth has done is that he mandated to the press corps that is assigned to the Pentagon to only report on stuff that they approve of. And then today, in protest, I think 50 or so journalists handed in their credentials and said that we will no longer be reporting from our respective organizations on the Pentagon or anything that it has to say. So now the thing is that Hegseth, who himself
Maximum lethality Hegseth. That's what they should call him. Maximum lethality Hegseth.
Former Fox News reporter and contributor Hegseth. I mean, censorship is something that here in Pakistan we are, sort of like, we understand very well.
Yeah.
Like, for example, even today I was reading in the paper, a show that you love, Lazawal Ishq, somebody has submitted, I think at the Islamabad.
Petition,
they submitted a petition that it be removed. Of course, the court responded that because it is on YouTube, we can't do anything about it.
Yep, they've removed YouTube videos before, haven't they?
They have, but I think it's like, do we even give a shit?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, whatever, we don't care. So censorship is something that we're quite familiar with here, but abroad, or at least in the US, especially over the past 2 years. Like, did you catch this? Because I think this also ties into censorship. Somebody wrote something, negative about Charlie Kirk. They were denied a visa. This happened.
Yeah.
At least I think several individuals were denied visas over their comments over Charlie Kirk.
So the issue is that when it comes to visas, the law is slightly more discretionary because it is at the discretion of the Secretary of State,
right?
Of who's allowed in and out of the country. So and not even that. Even if you get a visa and you show up in the US,
it can be at the border.
Border officials can send you back.
Deport you, yes. Yeah,
Deport if they don't feel that you meet all the things.
Standards, whatever.
Exactly. So that's a different issue. But is it necessarily a freedom of speech? I think so. It certainly does have an impact. Like if you are wanting to shape speech in a particular way, this is a tool that you have. No foreigner, nobody on a visa is ever going to do that. Nobody, even with a green card, is going to do that now that they are revoking green cards, right? So that certainly does reduce the pool of people who can criticize the US to US citizens.
Right. But what about sort of US citizens themselves? Do you feel that over the past 2 years, or at least Trump version 1 and now Trump 2.0, do you think that sort of censorship has now increased? Even under Biden, do you think that sort of censorship within US media is something that they've always sort of congratulated themselves over? That sort of like, freedom of speech, so on and so forth. Do you think that sort of freedom is being denied?
So I think it's more of a Republican issue or more of a MAGA issue because traditional Republicans didn't have an issue with it, right? In fact, they were big proponents of MAGA has got an issue with it because most of the media, the libs are, the Democrats are far more media savvy and are able, you would think that the media is more pro liberal policies and things like that, right? And they have felt the brunt of that, right? MAGA especially. They have been ridiculed, this and that. What they had, though, were the votes. And so once they're in power, they're looking at finding ways of how they can do it. The problem is they're not the smartest people, right?
Yeah.
They have very blunt tools at their disposal.
Absolutely.
That they're utilizing here. They don't have the best strategies of going about it. They think that, it's again that Mad King approach to everything and that the minions under him. Like
having Jimmy Kimmel, for example, off air.
Such a stupid silly thing to do, right? But and it backfired. It exposes them every time. Freedom of speech is one of those fundamental tenets of U.S. existence, civilization, right? Yeah. Getting, impinging on that is not going to be easy. Even with a compliant, Supreme Court, this and that, you just can't you can't whack every mole. There's going to always be someone who you're not happy with, right? And the thing is that it is demanding a fundamental change to how Americans live.
Yes,
and that is something that I don't think they're willing to accept. They would rather vote out someone who would try to impose that on them, right? And so the next election, whenever it is, the only real thing that someone needs to stand on, 2028. 2028. Have you seen the Trump tweeting?
I saw that.
Term, yeah.
Was that an AI video?
It was an AI generated video, but he retweeted it or he re-upped it on his.
I certainly don't think he would mind a third term.
He would love it, dude.
He would love a third term.
Constitution might mind.
Of course.
Yeah.
But they can always rejigger it.
He needs to go down the Xi Jinping for life.
For life.
Right? Like, this is the man. They found him. They were looking for a leader. They tried, 50 or so leaders. They found the one.
Yeah.
And so why change a good thing?
I definitely did see that AI video.
It's hilarious. he just messes with people, Yeah. He's just throwing things out and seeing what stirs the pot and sees what happens after that. Khan, on this note, I believe we must end now.
Okay.
I have a wife and children waiting for me at home.
Well, and I think that was all that happened this week. Tune in, I guess, next week.
There was a lot more that happened, but we haven't had the opportunity to discuss. I think the TLP and the
TLP
thing
is something that I think that once the dust actually settles.
Yeah. And we find out what happened.
Because the thing is that, again, in this country, I don't think anyone can ever tell. So I think TLP is one thing.
Yeah.
So that's something I think that we can keep for next week. But yeah. Oh, and we'll end on this one particular thing. Congratulations! I think Pakistan beat South Africa in something.
In a test match.
Wow.
We did very well.
Wow.
In South Africa.
You must be
I was very proud.
Bully for you.
Some good bowling we did. Yeah. Anyhow, thank you very much, guys.
Thanks.